Hey, how's it going? Today I'm talking about Dopey Race Part 2, Packing and Race Week Prep. Please forgive me, I still have a cold as it's been 10 minutes since I recorded the last episode that you heard the other day. But in real life, it has been 10 minutes. So, let's talk packing and race week prep. So, Dopey is a beast all in and of itself, right? Like 48.6 miles over the course of 4 days. You really have to be dopey to do it. Packing for Dopey is also a beast in and of itself. So I'm not going to talk about like typical packing stuff, like don't forget your socks and your sports bra. Like, you know to bring those. I'm going to talk about the things that you may have forgotten or are wondering if you should even bring. Please remember, I am coming at this as a runner myself, a running coach, and a physical therapist. So it may be a little bit of an odd grouping. I don't know. Let me know. So, first things first, you're going to need a big suitcase or multiple. You are going to be packing like you are going on a month's adventure because you don't really know what you're going to need. So, a couple of things, and you may not have these, so ignore the things that you don't have and can't have access to in time for Dopey because obviously at the day that this is dropping, Dopey's like a week away. So, let's talk about what to pack from a recovery standpoint. So, I love things like foam rollers, massage guns, the squeezy boots, pneumatic compression devices, like those big boots that people pull up their legs that massage your legs. Hot Epsom salt baths, ice packs, hot packs, things like that. So you may or may not be able to bring any of those things. If you can, I highly recommend you bring them all. But if you can't, here are ones that you should bring. So if you have pneumatic compression devices, if you have the squeezy boots, bring them. Bring them, bring them, bring them. If you don't, but you have a massage gun, bring the massage gun. If you don't have a massage gun, bring a foam roller. If you can't bring a foam roller, bring a magic stick. So that's the literal name of it, and you hold it in your hands and you rub it up and down your legs. There are also other variations. I don't know what brands those are, but there's one in particular that I can think of that you like put around your leg and you go up and down and it massages all sorts of parts. I should look up what that one is called. It looks good. I've never tried it, but that could be a good option for you. You want to have those devices because A, you've used them. They say nothing new on race day, nothing new race week. Do what you've been doing. Whatever you've been doing to recover from your long runs or your speed workouts, you need to be doing on Dopey race weekend. Don't change it up now. You've been feeling good all through the last 6 months of training. Do the same thing that you've been doing. This is one thing that I work with my clients in Stronger, Faster, Finisher on. Figuring out what makes you still feel good after the race and ready for the next day. You know, you can do all of the training and preparation, all of the running the miles, doing the strength workouts, doing the cross training. But come race weekend, you've done all of that. What can you do now? Like, I remember when I was studying for my physical therapy exam. Well, not even my physical therapy exam. The time that I'm thinking of is actually after I became a board certified physical therapist, which in the United States, that's what you do. You take a big long test. I don't know, I think they give you 6 hours for it. You have to go to one of those Prometric sites and you have to take off your hoodie and they check all the things and whatever. It's a big deal. In some states, you also have to take a jurisprudence exam, which is the laws, the rules, and regulations of physical therapy in that state. Nevada had a jurisprudence exam, and so I studied for it. I took the exam. Actually, now that I'm saying this, was it Nevada's that I took or was it California? Because I also took California's. Gosh, I don't remember now that I've said this. Either way, I know it was taking a jurisprudence exam. And I did all the studying and I prepared for it and everything. And then it was like the morning that I was going to go take the exam. The exam was going to be like noon or 1 o'clock, something like that. And I went and took a nap. And Royal was flabbergasted. He was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I am so nervous. I am just going to go take a nap." Like, all of the studying had been done. Any amount of cramming was not going to help me at that point. It would probably just confuse me. Actually, not probably. It would have just confused me. So I went and took a nap. That's how you should approach race weekend. Not necessarily with the nap, but you're not cramming anymore, right? You're not doing any more miles. The only things you can do are recovery wise, fueling and hydration. That's it. Everything else, the hay is in the barn. You have already done all that you can do training wise. Recovery wise, it's time to shine. But what have you been doing? This is what working in Stronger, Faster, Finisher, we start figuring out what stretches work for you, what warm up works for you. And I'm going to talk about warming up and stretching in another episode coming up in a later part of this series. What temperature-based thing works for you? Heat, ice, hot Epsom salt bath, cold bath, sitting in a hot tub. What massage-based technique works for you? Getting a professional massage, using a foam roller, using a massage gun, using your squeezy boots. What is it that works for you? What have you been using? And use that race weekend. So, all of the training you've done, yes, you've been building up your cardiovascular endurance, you've been building up your strength, you've been getting faster, you've been able to be on your feet longer without cramping. But what have you been doing that makes you feel good the rest of the day? That's what you also need to be doing race weekend. So, is it the foam roller? Is it a massage gun? Should you go get a professional massage? Should you use your squeezy boots? Should you be wearing compression stockings? What works for you? Make sure that what you've been using that has worked, you bring. If you tried compression stockings and they didn't work for you, but they work for Susie Q down the street, well, we don't care what Susie Q down the street uses. If it didn't work for you, it's not right for you, and that's okay. There are so many other things that do work for you, and I hope you found them. But make sure you bring the items that work for you. Those should be the first things in there. So whether it be your squeezy boots, massage gun, foam roller, compression stockings, all of those good things, make sure you bring them. And if you need a professional massage, make sure you book that. Okay? So that's recovery wise. Of course, you also need to be packing your fuel, your hydration, and again, nothing new race week. Nothing new. If you've been fueling with Scratch, make sure you bring Scratch. If you've been using Gatorade or Powerade, make sure you have access to that. Liquid IV, gummy bears, goo, Martin gels, whatever you've been using that works for you, make sure you pack it. And make sure you're packing enough for every single day. I'm going to be talking about carb loading and fueling and hydration in other episodes, but as a general rule, 60 to 90 grams of carbs per hour that you're out there on the course. Okay, make sure you're using what you've used. Nothing new. We don't need GI upset on a marathon because you're trying a gel for the first time because you know that they get a big bang for your buck. So many carbs in that small little pouch, and you can carry so many of them. Well, if you don't know what gel does to your insides, don't try it out on 26.2 miles. Okay? Do you take not hot Epsom salts, just Epsom salts? Are you taking Epsom salts with you to to going back to the recovery stuff? I think I forgot to mention that. Or should you just go sit in a hot tub? And then let's pack things to prevent blisters, right? So many runners will talk about what to do once you get a blister, and I'll talk about that too. But let's talk about preventing those blisters. Moleskin is your best friend for preventing blisters. Okay, moleskin. Buy it on Amazon, get it at Target, Walmart, Walgreens, wherever you're shopping. Moleskin, Moleskin. Some will change the spelling Molskin, whatever. It's flat pieces of fabric, not fabric, I don't know, flat pieces of adhesive that go on your skin. You put this on your skin to prevent a blister. Basically, what happens is a blister forms because of friction, because your shoe is rubbing up against the back of your heel, as an example. Or you have a fold in your sock and it creates an indent, and then friction happens there and you get a blister there. That's what causes a blister. When you use moleskin, you cover that area. So I use a large sheet, and I am talking large. We are talking inches, rectangular piece of moleskin across the whole back of your heel. And it goes above the level of where the top of your shoe hits. It goes like an inch, maybe 2 inches higher. Yes, you can see it. And it goes that whole back of your heel to have that be a barrier so that your heel is not rubbing up against your shoe. Now, you may be thinking, well, I'm not wearing new shoes. Yes, but you're doing a lot of miles in different weather. So you may be sweating differently, your foot's moving around. If you're using the same pair of shoes 2 days in a row, your shoes have stretched out. It's recommended to switch off your shoes every other day so it can compress and go back down from a stretched out position. But there are so many factors. It is much better to wear the moleskin and not have to use it than not wear it and get a blister afterward. You can also put it on the ball of your foot. If you're going to do that, make sure you wrap all the way around your foot. Same thing with actually the back of your heel. If it starts rubbing in any amount, it's going to start folding and rolling down. You need to cover enough space that it won't start rolling. So you don't want it to start rolling off the bottom of your foot. So it needs to span the whole width of your foot and wrap around the top of your foot. You may even need to secure the top of your foot with some Coban. I recommend Coban and not athletic tape because Coban is very stretchy. But the way Coban works and stays on is it adheres to itself. So you have to wrap Coban all the way around itself. It's not like a strip like athletic tape is. But when I am running a race, any spot that has ever gotten a blister in the past gets moleskin. So the back of my heels, and I wear it all day at the parks as well. My pinky toe, my big toe, the sole of my foot, the bottom, like the pad of my foot, all of them get them. And I recommend just whenever you're out and about, you can take it off when you're hanging out in the room, but when you're walking around at the park, when you're going to the races, when you're spectating the races, moleskin. And then I mentioned the Coban. Get Coban because it's stretchy and it stays in place. Athletic tape, unless you're using it to secure a sprained ankle and having an athletic trainer tape you up, athletic tape really isn't that good. It's not forgiving. It gets creases in it. And if you've ever noticed like an athletic trainer taping up somebody's ankle, make sure that there are absolutely no creases. Creases cause blisters and skin breakdown because it just allows for that friction. So we don't want that. So we talked moleskin, Coban. If you get a blister, you want to use a corn pad. Okay, so also get corn pads. The corn pad, it has a hole in it. So it's a piece of foam and then it has a hole. So what happens is you use the corn pad, put it around the blister. The blister part goes where the hole of that corn pad is. And then you can put Coban or a Band-Aid or something over top of it just for a little extra protection. But you use that foam so then the actual blister doesn't get rubbed on anymore because there's that hole, there's that cutout. So just the foam portion gets the pressure, because what happens is if you keep putting the same amount of pressure, like if you only put a Band-Aid over the blister, then your shoe's still rubbing up against the raw blister or even the unpopped blister. It might not be raw, but it's still putting pressure there. And so you're not doing yourself any favors. It's going to either rip or it's already ripped and you're just going to keep rubbing it raw. You need that cutout to give yourself some space so that your shoe doesn't rub up against it. Um, what else? Pack things like Vaseline or the anti-chafe creams or sticks or what have you. Again, whatever you've been using, and you want to put it in places that have chafed in the past or have been rubbed raw in the past. So a common spot is the bra line, in the front, in the back, on the side, in the armpit, the shoulders. Like if you have a big chest, the shoulders are an area that will get rubbed because of your sports bra. Now remember, if you're doing Dopey, it's not just one day of these races. So maybe you would be okay one day and then you get rubbed a little raw with the sports bra from a 5K in the heat, but then you still have to do it 3 more days. So start off by doing these things to prevent it from happening. And who knows, maybe you wouldn't have needed it. But what if you do? And then you're miserable for another 3 days running like that. Then you're definitely miserable getting in the shower after it. And then you're still miserable for like a week later. So just use it. When in doubt, use it to prevent the chafing from ever happening. Let's see, what else about packing and race week prep? I think that's really it. Of course, remember the things like your shoes, bring multiple pairs of shoes, your socks, your underwear, your bras, your costumes, hats, sunblock. You may not be thinking about sunblock or your sunglasses because you are starting in the dark, but if you are running a 7-hour marathon and you're starting in the last corral, well, you're definitely going to be running in the sun. Water bottles, things like that. Don't forget any of them. Have the most fun at race week.